Starting fresh is never simple, especially for John Nolan, a small-town guy chasing his dream of becoming a police officer after a life-changing event. As the oldest rookie on the force, some higher-ups are quick to doubt him, seeing him more as a midlife crisis than a serious cop. And a budding office romance, a tense hostage situation, and some tough lessons from their new training officer. And this rookie class in Los Angeles is in for a challenging ride. John Nolan visits his local bank in Foxburg, Pennsylvania, to store away his divorce papers and wedding ring in a safe deposit box. While there, he chats with Stacy, the bank manager and a friend, about his recent divorce and feeling uncertain about his future. Suddenly, a group of armed robbers storms in and takes everyone hostage. When Nolan notices Stacy attempting to trigger the silent alarm, he starts rambling to draw the robbers' attention away from her. One of them hits him and threatens to kill him if he moves again, but Nolan keeps distracting them after spotting the police outside. Just as one of the robbers is about to shoot him, the officers storm in and take the suspect down, ending the standoff and freeing the hostages. The experience leaves Nolan reflecting on what he really wants to do with his life. 9 months later, Nolan shows up at the Los Angeles Police Department's Mid-Wilshire station, ready to begin his first day as a rookie officer. As he walks in, he meets officers Talia Bishop and Angela Lopez, who tell him he needs to report to the station's captain, Zoe Anderson, as part of a station tradition. But when Nolan steps into her office, he quickly realizes it was all a prank. Captain Anderson, already familiar with his background, questions his unusual career path, pointing out that he studied pre-law at Penn State, a well-regarded university, then spent 20 years in construction before making a sudden shift to law enforcement. Nolan assures her that he won't let her down, despite her doubts. Elsewhere, fellow rookie Lucy Chen is heading to the same station when her car breaks down, leaving her to push it the rest of the way. On the street, a gangster stops her, pulls out a gun, and tries to take the car. Unfazed, Chen arrests him on the spot and brings him into the station herself. While chatting with other officers and mentioning that Rookie Day is his favorite, Officer Tim Bradford runs into rookie Jackson West in the station's locker room and tries to intimidate. But West handles it calmly, explaining that his father, also a police officer, would be let down if he couldn't rise to the challenge. After noticing West's name tag, Bradford realizes he's the son of Percy West, the LAPD's Internal Affairs commanding officer, and quickly eases up. During roll call, Sergeant Wade Gray, the day shift's watch commander, introduces the 3 rookies. He describes Chen as a standout, noting she made her first arrest before even starting her shift. West is introduced as the son of Percy West, having shattered all of his father's records at the police academy. And Nolan is introduced with a jab, saying he was born before disco died. Ray then pairs each rookie with their training officer, Bradford with Chen, Lopez with West, and Bishop with Nolan. After the teams head out on patrol, Gray pulls Nolan aside for a private word, expressing his disdain for officers like him, calling him a walking midlife crisis who puts other cops at risk. Nolan shares with his training officer, Bishop, what Sergeant Gray said to him. She replies that his age doesn't matter to her, so long as he doesn't stand in the way of her goal to become chief of police. Nolan then explains that he completely uprooted his life 6 months ago just to move to LA and join the force. Because of his age, he knows he has to work harder and move faster than the others, and he promises to make her look good on her path to promotion. Nolan and Bishop respond to a call about a domestic dispute at a residence known for similar incident. When they arrive, the couple appears unharmed, and the husband quickly urges them to leave. Nolan pulls the husband aside for a private conversation, while Bishop does the same with the wife. During their talk, Bishop mistakenly tells the woman that once her husband hits her, she needs to press charges and get out. Otherwise, it could end in tragedy. But the woman corrects her, saying that despite her husband's large and intimidating appearance, he's emotionally unresponsive, like a block of wood. She admits to intentionally provoking him just to get some sort of reaction. Meanwhile, Nolan tells the husband that even if she's trying to provoke him, he still can't lash out. The man insists his wife has a fiery temper, but knows not to cross the line by hitting him. With no legal grounds to take action, Nolan and Bishop leave, though Bishop warns they'll likely be back. While out on patrol, Bradford asks Chen why she chose to become a police officer. suspecting it's a setup, especially after he'd been tough on her during the vehicle and equipment inspection. Chen hesitantly shares that she was raised by two therapist parents. Before she can say much more, Bradford suddenly stops the patrol car and shouts that he's been shot as a way to test her reaction. Caught off guard, Chen struggles to respond and can't identify their location, so Bradford punishes her by making her walk alongside the vehicle until she figures it out. He then finishes her story for her, saying she became a cop to rebel against her parents for treating her like an emotional science experiment. As they continue, a pickup truck behind them honks because Bradford is driving slowly. He insults the people inside, but they only speak Spanish. Chen steps in and asks for their license in Spanish. Bradford then tells her to translate his offensive remarks, but she instead calmly informs the drivers that their vehicle violates traffic code. Afterward, Bradford pulls her aside and reveals he also speaks Spanish. He criticizes her for not translating his insults, claiming that everything is a test and that she just failed another one. Lopez and West respond to a possible burglary at a residence, where a woman, just out of the shower, answers the front door. She tells them she didn't call the police, but then they hear the sound of glass breaking from another part of the house. Lopez heads around to investigate, while West stays at the front. Lopez soon spots another woman trying to escape through the rafters, and as she introduces herself, the startled woman loses her footing and falls out of a tree. Both women are arrested, and they admit they weren't trying to steal anything. They break into homes to have sex as part of a fetish. Lopez explains they can only be charged with misdemeanor trespassing, but West points out that since they used the home's water to shower, it technically qualifies as theft, making it burglary. Impressed, Lopez acknowledges the sharp thinking. West then proudly declares himself the best prepared rookie in LAPD history, only to be cut off when they realize the women were having sex in their patrol car. Nolan and Bishop respond to a call about a disturbed man smashing a car windshield with a metal bat while yelling, causing a traffic jam and drawing a crowd of onlookers. Bishop instructs Nolan to try and de-escalate the situation. Chen and Bradford arrive soon after and observe from a distance. Nolan approaches calmly, speaking to the man in a soothing tone and offering to help him handle Unicorn, which seems to resonate with him. The man steps down from the car and drops the bat, but suddenly takes off running. Nolan and Chen immediately give chase. During the chase, which spans several blocks, the man runs through an alley and into a fenced-off area. Nolan takes a shortcut, hoping to cut him off by climbing over a fence, but ends up stuck between two chained gates. Just as the suspect runs past, Chen catches up and tackles him in front of Nolan. The training officers arrive and Bradford unlocks the chain to free Nolan. While the man is being taken into custody, he starts yelling that he needs to find someone named Lucas. His phone rings and Bishop answers. It's the man's wife. She tells Bishop that their son, Lucas, was with him. The man then says he left Lucas in the car and that the Unicorn has him. With temperatures soaring, a large-scale search is launched to find Lucas before the heat becomes fatal. Nolan and Bishop drive through the area, scanning for the vehicle, though Bishop expresses doubt about the boy's chances of survival. Nolan spots a car that matches the description and quickly jumps out to check it, but it turns out to be empty. As he looks around, he notices a nearby shop decorated with unicorn balloons and another car beside it that also matches the description. Nolan rushes over and finds Lucas unconscious in the back seat. The doors are locked, and Nolan tries to break a window with his baton, but it doesn't work. Just then, Bishop arrives and shatters the window with a window punch tool. Once the car is opened, Nolan pulls Lucas out and desperately tries to wake him, nearly breaking down in the process. Moments later, the boy regains consciousness, and Nolan and Bishop quickly hand him over to the EMT. Still riding the emotional high of saving the child, Nolan is clearly relieved. Bishop encourages him to celebrate the win, but also reminds him that his panic caused him to overlook the proper tool to break the window, a mistake that could have serious consequences in a future emergency. The three Rookie 2 pairs head to a food truck area for lunch, with the rookies tasked with picking up and paying for their training officer's meal. West jokes with Chen about how harsh and demanding Bradford is, but Nolan seems to get the reason behind Bradford's tough approach. He advises Chen to take the time to understand her too in order to handle him better. Meanwhile, the training officers sit together and talk about the recent rescue of Lucas. Bradford notes the tension between Bishop and Lopez, recognizing that they're both aiming for a promotion to detective. Lopez is frustrated because becoming a detective has been her dream since childhood, while Bishop views it simply as a step toward eventually becoming chief of police. For her part, Bishop is annoyed that Lopez's aggressive style gives her an edge, while Bishop's own overdeveloped sense of morality tends to hold her back. Bradford chimes in with his take, saying that staying in patrol is actually the most fun. Their lunch is cut short when Bishop and Nolan are called back to the earlier domestic disturbance. This time, the situation has escalated. Each rookie faces their own set of challenges during their first shift, and each handles them differently. Wes, who proudly calls himself the most prepared rookie in LAPD history, freezes when gunfire erupts. Chen quickly learned that her background in psychology offers little help when dealing with her tough, no-nonsense training officer. Nolan finds himself dealing with a child locked in a hot car, a violent suspect holding a woman hostage, and a man bleeding out. Despite his efforts, he's unable to save him. By the end of the shift, Nolan begins to question his decision to start over, but he holds firm when Sergeant Gray warns that he'll be under constant pressure to prove himself as a capable officer.